I founded a luxury brand that banks refuse to touch and social media loves to censor. Today I'm pulling back the curtain on the taboo world of sex-based businesses and the struggle against a system bigger than we are. I'm Lydia, and in 2022 I launched a brand called Kilter, a brand of luxury BDSM products unlike any other product on the market. And we went viral on the weekend our store launched, which gave us an incredibly strong start. We've quickly gained a reputation for the quality of our products, materials, and the uniqueness of our design, and I am desperate to expand. In this video I'm going to give you an insight into the gap in the market that I spotted and how I established Kilter in that sweet spot. But what is the issue if things on the surface look like they're going well? Well, I can't run any paid advertising on mainstream channels. I am totally reliant on organic media and temperamental social algorithms. You see, social media doesn't like brands like mine, ones that talk about sex. Our content is routinely culled and our accounts are subject to being shut down without any warning. And banks have either ghosted me or said I operate in a prohibited category, which is in spite of them telling me that I had the strongest business plan they'd seen in a while. And that's down to me having spent the past 10 years in marketing for international agencies on global brands. I can create a brand with purpose and promise, and I try to help other small businesses with this too. After my Instagram account got shut down and I got my 5th content warning on TikTok, I thought I should probably change my content strategy. I figured they could censor me for talking about sex and bondage, even in an anecdotal or an educational way, which is within their community guidelines, but they can't possibly shut down my account for talking about the business behind the bondage. That's the theory, at least. Another reason I'm sharing this is because social media is full of all of the highs of starting a business, overnight success stories, which don't necessarily paint a true picture of what running a business is actually like. And I want to be transparent about my highs and my lows and how my marketing background helps me overcome those. So any small business, whether you sell adult products or not, might actually find this content useful. So if you're in the market for some no-nonsense small business stories, I'd very much appreciate a like, a subscribe, a comment or an engagement, just to give a little middle finger up to that algorithm and say they can't shut me up quite yet. So what is the gap in the market and how did I take advantage of it? It was 2020 and I was in the market for a spanking paddle, a form of impact play, a popular category within BDSM. And as the person who was administering the impact, I wanted a product that felt truly at home in my hand. The bedroom is a space for a couple to explore and be vulnerable with each other. And when you're vulnerable, you want to use products you are totally comfortable with. After all, who feels sexy in lingerie they don't think flatters their figure? And it's the same when it comes to tools and toys. You want a product that represents you. And after searching the internet, everything I found felt the same. The same colours, black, red or pastel if you were lucky. The accessibly priced products felt cheap and the pleather peeled easily. Or the products at a higher price point felt too severe and too cliche. And I ended up buying one that I wasn't truly happy with. And I thought there had to be a better solution that would enhance my experience. If I wanted a handbag, I could go out into the world and I could find a plethora that suited my style. I'd be overwhelmed with the sheer choice, but that same product selection isn't available when it comes to BDSM. And I wanted products that felt like they would be at home on the ground floor of Selfridges, next to Chanel, next to Hermes, products outside of the traditional aesthetic associated with this world, and products that felt more like me. So one day I thought I'll put my art A level to good use, and I began sketching. I found a master saddler on Instagram, and I worked with her to refine a prototype until I was happy. And initially that's where I was going to stop. It was only ever supposed to be a product for me, but the moment I held it in my hand I realised it really wasn't like any of the other products out there, and there had to be more people like me who'd want a product like this too. I know from experience that the strongest brands are born from identifying a problem, creating a solid solution and retailing that solution at a price point that people are willing to pay for it. And in honesty, I might not have thought about developing the spanking paddle idea any further had I not already begun entertaining a dream of being self-employed one day. So what did I do next with the idea? I started looking at the market, and this is an approach I take with all of the small businesses that I help. It's a top-down approach. We look at the market and the economic factors that influence the market to identify the opportunity, and then we look at the competitors within that market so we can identify a small business's positive point of difference. Now that's the thing that you have that nobody else has. Nobody else can replicate it. It's your brand DNA. And then I look at consumer behaviour within this vertical. What do they want from this sort of brand? So I can paint a very clear picture of who I was going to be selling to. I also spoke to people who I wanted to be my customers to get their first-hand experience of buying these sorts of products as well, so I could ensure that I was on full track before I went full pelt and explored manufacture at scale. I was able to cultivate a product and a brand identity distinctly different from anything else out there. And the best practice thing to do when it comes to branding is to give customers a reason to pick you out of a lineup, look at what other brands are doing, and do something completely different. I took a more high-end fashion brand approach like the front pages of Vogue, as opposed to the traditional, dark, sultry aesthetic typically adopted by brands who also retail the same sorts of products. And this approach makes it so much easier when you start marketing. People understood my brand purpose from the beginning and bought into my reason for existing quite early on. And the followers who found me just as I was getting started have turned into some of my most loyal customers. They are now my product testers for any new products that I'm looking to bring out. A strong customer relationship goes two ways, and I know that I can trust them to give me honest opinions of the samples I'm developing, so I know I'm always meeting a customer need with anything that I'm launching. From a marketing perspective, the markers of a successful brand are all there. I just need to make it work by hook or by crook, because I've invested £50,000 of my own money from the sale of my house into this business. Now, because I'd already initiated the sale of my house prior to exploring funding for Kilter, I hadn't got that as an asset to loan against. So I looked at multiple finance options, and my most realistic option was to take out a startup loan, which is a personal loan for business use. I had a healthy salary, I could meet the affordability repayments, but quite frankly, the lenders I approached didn't want to know, and I suspect that's because of the type of product I sell. And in fact, one lender outright told me it was because I operated in a prohibited category. So instead, what I did was I marketed my product very early, and this is advice that I would give to anyone looking to launch. Market as early as possible. Get people to join you on your journey. So when the time you launch, you have a warm customer base who are ready to buy your product and see what you've got in store. Doing this, I was able to fund my first round of manufacture of product. And without it, I don't think I'd have had such a strong start to the business had I not already built up a warm audience who were receptive to my brand story and why I was existing and launching this product to market. We launched with a collection of 12 products, 6 products as a collection in 2 different colourways, so I could test to see which was the most popular. And since then, I've had people begging for me to expand that range even further because they love what I launched with. But 2023 was tough for all small businesses, especially one that can't really advertise anywhere. So I finally saved enough now at the beginning of 2024, which is the point you join me at, to go back into product development. And I'm currently exploring 3 different products that I'm going to launch in the next couple of months that I know my customers are already excited about. So if you're interested in this journey and where I'm going to take this, I would very much appreciate a like, comment, a subscribe, and I hope you join me on the next one.